Hello, good commanders of the Azur lane and people of YouTube, Lucky Me is 205 over here. And this time, we're gonna review Z23 from the Iron Blood, and one of the starter destroyers you can actually get immediately after you start the game, if you are a new player. But sometimes it differs to the, perhaps servers. Some places you cannot get Nimi, that's her nickname, as a starter ship. You have to actually grind her. And if my memory serves correctly, somewhere in the China or Japanese servers, only Ayanami is available. Because she is replaced. And here on the English servers we have Z23 as a starter destroyer. And how times have fared to her? Let's find out. Oh, and if you want to see her 3D model, I highly recommend playing Azur Lane Crosswave. She is fairly interesting playable character over there. Let's start with her character design before we go to the stats. This is her base skin. Very simplified and very very interesting design, I have to admit. It shows very much to the Iron Blood theme of the destroyers, and because she is a Narvik class, nicknamed by the allies, if my memory serves, she is 90 for the type destroyers. Excuse me, let me correct my statement. She is actually a Type 9036A destroyer. And there we have 5 members alongside Z23 already. Now, you can see her very simple design on the torpedoes and her riggings. Very good looking character, I have to say. And what interesting thing was, if I actually remember correctly, we have live 2D available also to the Nimi. Very interesting, very interesting. Makes me a little bit confused just seeing her live 2D version after 8 years. But never mind that. Over the years, she has gained quite an amount of different skins and styles and themes. And I have to admit, every one of them is respectively very well made, although some of them can hint a slightly bit of fan service, but that's just very rare, some degree, to the Nimi case. But let's focus on to her stats. Now, because she can be retrofitted, I came to the conclusion that if you want to spend resources to get the best version of Nimi, I think I should actually start with the retrofit one. Although, you can. Actually, I'm gonna drop a screenshot right here to see how different her base and retrofit stats, how they differs. Now, if you go with the 125 retrofit version of the HP, 2342 HP. Now, as for the starter destroyer, if you pick her up, she is compared to the Ayanami, Luffy, and Javelin, she is a very tanky destroyer. Now, as for firepower, 172. In her retrofit version, because her base version is 122, she gets a heavy upgrade to her firepower, which would already indicate that she is a gunboat. And some my memories also tells me that the community also came to the conclusion that Z23 is heavily leaning towards to the main gun build and not to the torpedo build. Because a torpedo is 351. Now compared to these two stats to the other three, she outperforms only on the firepower. But somewhere in the torpedoes, it's decent, it's there. Now as for her anti-air 280, as for destroyer, well, nowadays we have some destroyers very good anti-air, but because it's an Iron Blood, and Iron Blood is well known for lagging anti-air, it's there, but it's not doing that great. Now as for her reload 202, it's not bad either. Her evasion for destroyer 208, not bad, very decent. She is respectfully a very big destroyer. Now her speed, her speed is 42. Her accuracy, which is important, is 197. Her luck stat is 65. Very interesting one, because luck stat is important to actually do some interesting stuff. Her anti-submarine is 224. It can do some degree very decent job. And her oil cost is 9. Now then, let's go with her skills. She gets 2 offensive skills. Well, her Iron Blood Vanguard base skill is very simplified. When this fires her main guns, 5% chance to increase this firepower by 60% for 8 seconds. 5 seconds cooldown starts on cooldown. But if you give her Augment module, which happens to be custom-made companion rigging Predator. Although in Germany it is given name Raubtier. I think I mispronounced the name, but this is basically a Predator. It gives 32 firepower, which is very nice, and HP 200, which makes her a very tanky destroyer to some degree. Now, with this, there's also slash attack with the spread, but then we have Iron Blood Vanguard Plus, which says the following. During battle, increases this ship's main gun gear slot efficiency by 10%, and decreases her damage taken by 8%. From the get-go, this is very good start. Because for the gunboat, main gun efficiency is the important part. Now also taking 8% less damage is also very impressive. Of course nowadays we have some tanky destroyers, but that's talk on the other day. When this ship fires her main guns, 5% chance to increase this ship firepower by 60% for 8 seconds. This hasn't changed much, but making her tanky and main gun efficiency is something you must take note on. Also, main gun efficiency, because there's 10% increase, her efficiency right now is 175. Now, excuse me, she gets only one main gun. She gets torpedoes, 120% for a destroyer, kinda low. but very mediocre. Now as for entire air, which is 85%, not good. Now then, we have Destruction Mode, which is Retrofit skill. Every 20 seconds, 70% chance for the ship to enter Destruction Mode, firing a powerful barrage, deploying 2 rotating shields that can each block up to 5 shells. Shields last for 10 seconds, and increasing this ship main gun critical rate to 100% for 10 seconds. Personally, 20% is decently long, and 70% chance for the ship enter destruction mode sounds like the case with the Enterprise, but Enterprise relies on launching airstrikes while Nimi relies on time base. This could have been better, but perhaps some balance issues. I think this was one way to go with a 20-second 70% chance. Either way, once this activates, she is a very tanky and very interesting destroyer for the last 10 seconds. Now, as you can see in my very bizarre build, I have high performance hydraulic steering gear, which makes her very decently tankier, increasing her survivability. Now, as for the magnetic torpedo, yes, there is a hit evolved, but also this very layout is very fascinating. I gave her prototype twin 150mm TPT SK Z42T main gun, which has a damage of 72. That would be very high for a destroyer. 27 to 4 damage. I think this fires 4 times. Very accurate shells. Now firing rate is 2 seconds, 2.43 seconds per wave, and then firepower is 45, and with the improved adaptability skill, which I thought seems to be very important for this type of destroyer, because when equipped by the destroyer, increases all weapons damage modifiers against all armor types by 15%. Now, this gun arrived with the Felix Sulch, and I thought this might also work alongside with the other jet-type destroyers that can have 150mm guns, but I believe perhaps Z23 or Nimi can actually benefit from this gun, but that's on me. Shell velocity 22 with the armor modifier, 100 to the light, 80 to the medium, and 60 to the heavy. Effective range 65, firing angle, that's all around perhaps, well, almost all around. Shell range, spread angle 0, and this is the important because it makes it very accurate gun. Can I enchant this once? Not quite. Then I gave her quadruple magnetic torpedo just for fun. Prototype quadruple 30mm gun, fast reload, decently fast, decently good damage, effective range 30, which is impressive. And with this build, I'm gonna give her some very test rounds, which type of map she can actually perform very well. Either way, now it's time for my final opinions about Nimi. Alright, people of YouTube and commanders, Alchemist205 voiceover over here, and German destroyer Z23. Now she has what I have actually failed to mention. No, well, not failed. And that is her history. And because she is one of 15 Type 9036A destroyers, she had some very interesting career in service. And she was sunk so after the Battle of Bay of Biscuit, if I got the name correctly. Now, as for the ship itself, the one thing I actually failed to mention is her capability to have 150mm gun, and that is, she was designed to be a large destroyer, and that characteristic gave her ability to carry bigger caliber guns. And thanks to that, you can actually have some options what type of guns you can give her, either AP 150s or HE or normal variations. But that depends how do you want to utilize her skills, that also matters. HE or normal ammunition, which one, can be really good against light armor enemies. And then we have AP, which just goes straight to the enemy and can deal interesting amount of damage to all of those that are behind the enemy and those who it can actually penetrate through. And the thing I noticed about Z23 is that nowadays, in 8 years in the game, she can be outplayed by these newer destroyers we have. Like a couple examples on the Iron Blood. I'm not sure about the Merker from the Iron Blood event. That could be one. But then we have ultra rare ones like Z52. And then we have Felix Schultz, or the same one I have on the background. And I believe that Felix Schultz is straight up an upgrade from our Nimi. And with that, if you want to actually pick up, let's just say, a starter destroyer, if you are an EN servers, if my memory serves me correctly, you have Z23, Luffy, and Javelin. But Ayanami you have to grind. And I will say Z23 is second best destroyer compared to the Javelin and Luffy, because what I heard on the past, Luffy is all around way better destroyer. She is well balanced and well designed for combat, while Nimi or Z23 is more into the firepower and large HP thanks to her large destroyer design. Now, how to make her... Well, okay, sure, I did use her in the map 13, was it? I always goddamn forgot these chapters. It was chapter 14, excuse me. I did use her in a map 14. And I believe that you can actually bring most of her if you have ships like Z1 that can actually improve every Iron Blood destroyer's capabilities very height percentage. Was it 40%? 40. And then we have ships like Craft Zeppelin that can increase her tankiness more. Then we have, if you happen to have Admiral Senker, that also increases Vanguard's capabilities. Then we have the Bismarck, who also can give Ironblood very impressive buffs. But nowadays, I'm afraid that Nimi can be outperformed. She is, if you don't retrofit her, a cheap, decent destroyer if you want to use a gunboat. Then again, as your collection progresses, you will start to notice that there will be some newer destroyers from other factions or from the Ironblood that can outperform Z23. But that doesn't mean she is useless. No, 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 no. She can be useful, and thanks to the Alchemy module and retrofit, she is a very, honestly, a decent gunboat destroyer. The problem is just enemy types, and which type of gun you want to give her. Now I want to point this out because I did use Felix Schultz's gun, that 150mm gun. It has nice modifiers when equipped to destroyer, but because AP, it go through the enemies, and HE or normal ammunition, it can do some more damage to the light armor enemies. And thanks to her capabilities to carry 150, yeah, you can probably have a very good HE firing gun if you can build one or find one. And this is something what I too struggle with some degree with the what type of gun is good on which type of destroyer. If you want to make her very effective against light armor enemies, then HE is good to go, but if you want to equip AP, just keep in mind that AP tends to go straight to the light armored enemies and attacking those that are behind them. But if enemy happens to carry a shield, then yes, it can actually block that small caliber gun. And then just let your torpedoes finish the job. She's a very decent destroyer, there's nothing wrong about it. She's very well balanced. It's just sad and very understandable, because if the main campaign evolves, so need the ship girls as well to be more stronger, to perform better in the main campaign. Operation Siren could be one where Nimi can shine. There's nothing wrong about it. But about the PvP, well, if you want to grind those juicy resources from the PvP, the exercise, yes, Defense Fleet could be one. She is just very good starter destroyer. It can't be outperformed. I don't think there's nothing else I can actually say. She is just very well balanced destroyer. Gun destroyer. Main gun build, whatever. But I believe that's all I actually think about it, about naming it. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot! She has, thanks to the Azur Lane anime, her own song. It was translated something like Wisdom is power, or was it Wisdom is strength? I don't recall the name correctly, but I highly recommend looking for into the Z23's song, theme song. And every time I hear it, I just... oof! It makes me feel good. Now then, I believe that's all I actually think of about our beloved Z23 teacher, and also very reliable secretaryship too. Very strict, but just because she cares. I hope. My name is LuckyMiss205. If you found this informative or funny to listen, following the channel can help with the YouTube algorithm, and also leaving comments down below can do the same job as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you on the next one.
虫けらな分際で私と指揮官にちょっかいを出さないことね。